I wanted to make this video because I realized that so many of you haven't released a cover song simply because you're scared off by the licensing part of it. Imagine having to communicate with the original artist or their publisher. It sounds like a nightmare, right? It's not. In most cases, you don't need their permission to record a cover. It's compulsory. But you do need to do some licensing through a third party, and I'm going to teach you how to do that. I want to encourage you to get into the covers game. I've released over 200 cover songs totaling nearly 1 billion streams as a part of the Punk Goes Pop compilation series. Cover songs are still growing. Look at this on Google Trends over the past decade. Hey, I'm Todd. I was a longtime label manager for independent label Fearless Records and a former VP of sales at Sony Music. Most of my years in the music industry have been spent developing artists from the ground up. And I'm still doing that today, helping artists earn a living from their music. All the tips you'll find on my channel come from testing thousands of track releases and from my record label experience. Alright, mash that subscribe button and hit the bell so you don't miss any of my videos. Here are the steps for releasing a cover song. Make sure the song you record is actually a cover song and not a parody, a medley, or a remix. Those are considered derivative works. Cover songs are compulsory, meaning you don't need the original artist's consent to record it. But if you want to put it on sale, you do need to purchase a compulsory mechanical license from a third party. Most of you are going to be recording compulsory cover songs. Very few of you will be doing derivative works where you change the lyrics and the fabric of the song. Get a compulsory mechanical license. Now, there are different mechanical licenses and rates for each music format. If you just want to get your cover song on the streaming services like Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, and you don't care to sell physical goods, then you just need to get a digital downloads mechanical license. But wait, digital downloads? Who cares about MP3s anymore? Even though streaming is the dominant format now, you still need to get a digital downloads license because that covers streaming and MP3s. And the cost of the mechanical license is based on the estimated MP3 track downloads. At least that's how it is right now in the summer of 2021. The laws could change soon. Since MP3 downloads are in sharp decline, I would just choose a low amount to get the licensing process started. The digital download mechanical license costs a minimum of between $12 and $20. This will cover you up to the first year or about 30 to 50 track downloads. And once you exceed that, you're required to purchase more or renew your license for additional estimated sales. If you want to put it on CD or vinyl, you have to purchase an additional mechanical license for that. Easy song licensing costs about $19 a year for a small amount, like 25 to 40 digital downloads. You should check their website for the latest prices. Some distributors, like DistroKid, require that you buy the license directly from them. And even if you bought the license from, say, Easy Song Licensing or Songfile, DistroKid wouldn't accept it. So make sure to check with your distributor about their covers policy. Once you have your mechanical license, you need to set up your cover song with your digital distributor. And that's a similar process to how you set up your original music. Each distributor will explain how they want you to prove that you have a mechanical license. Like I said, some distributors want to control the licensing part because they might have liability in case you license incorrectly. So once you've got your mechanical license and you're set up with distribution, you're pretty much covered for there, at least on the audio. Spotify and Apple and the streaming services are responsible for paying the mechanical royalties to the various collection societies around the world. So that's pretty much it if you just want to put it on the streaming services. But what if you want to make a video and put it on YouTube? You have two options and a decision to make. Do you just want to put your video on YouTube for promotional purposes? Or do you want to earn money from your video? If you don't mind making zero money from your video, you can just upload it to YouTube and that'll create what's called a copyright claim on your channel. And that's not a strike. It's nothing scary. There's a big difference between a copyright claim and a strike. After the claim is reviewed by the original artist's publisher, your video will be live on YouTube. But the publisher is going to collect all of the revenue generated from the video. You won't be able to take any of that money. There is a chance that the publisher doesn't allow your video to remain on YouTube. It's rare, but they do reserve that right. But typically the publisher will leave your video up. They want to make money from it, and they also benefit from promotion of the original song. The process is pretty quick, from mere minutes to hours to a week. Technically, and it would be irresponsible of me to leave this out, Technically, you do need a sync license to put your cover video up on YouTube. But since it's happening thousands of times a day, and the publishers are still making money from the Content ID system on YouTube, the practice of putting up cover videos without a sync license is tolerated. Now, if you want to make money from your video on YouTube, you can use a licensing service like We Are the Hits or Easy Song Licensing. These services have direct relationships with all the major publishers. I have no affiliation or partnership with either of these companies. There's other ones out there too. I just like to use these two examples because they have slightly different options for you. We Are the Hits will charge you a percentage for all the money that your song generates, whereas Easy Song Licensing will quote you an upfront flat fee to acquire the sync license. You can check their websites for the latest pricing, but what I would tell you is if you think your video is going to get 200,000 streams or more on YouTube, it'd probably be a better deal to pay the upfront flat fee from Easy Song Licensing. If you don't think your video is going to get those 200,000 streams, probably the revenue share model with We Are the Hits is going to cost less for you. You're licensing the right to sync your cover song to motion picture. This is called a synchronization license. There's no set price for sync licensing. The publisher can charge any rate they want. So you need to enlist the help of one of these services I mentioned, and you need to get a custom sync license for YouTube. Not for everything, just for YouTube specifically. The price is case by case, so you need to inquire with Easy Song Licensing or We Are the Hits to get a quote. This is the only way you can monetize your cover song video on YouTube. Otherwise, the publisher is going to claim it in Content ID and monetize it for themselves, which is only fair. Now, aside from the custom sync licensing on YouTube, the process is pretty easy, right? Especially if you're just trying to get it on the streaming services and not monetize it on YouTube, just use it for promotional purposes. So those are the steps for licensing, but there are some other considerations, so check out these tips. Everything I've mentioned so far has been just about cover songs, not about remixes, so don't get confused. And don't use samples of the original recording in your cover song. That makes it a derivative work. A cover has to be 100% you. And if you put up an unlicensed remix or sample, you risk getting a copyright strike, and that's not a claim. A copyright strike is bad, and it's 3 strikes and you're off YouTube. This next tip is about covering songs in the public domain. If the song was written over 100 years ago, then you don't need to do any licensing. You can just record your version and you can put it through distribution much like you would your original music. Public domain means that the copyright laws have expired and they no longer protect the original rights owner after 100 years. If you think the song is in the public domain but not sure, check this database. A lot of old Christmas songs and holiday songs written over 100 years ago are in the public domain. If you're not sure, before you record it, check the database. And these songs are not in the public domain just because they're Christmas songs. It's because they're over 100 years old. Christmas covers are great to do. You only get 2 months of promotion a year, but you can revisit it every year. And there's lots of demand for them now that everybody has a Christmas playlist. Here's a tip. Don't put a bunch of tags on your YouTube video to optimize so that fans find your video in search. This is against YouTube policy. One question I get asked a lot is, can you make money doing cover songs? Yes, absolutely. Now, you can't make any money on the publishing songwriting side because you didn't write the original, but you can make money on the master side because you own the master recording 100%, and you can collect all that money through digital distribution. You can also collect master performance royalties through SoundExchange and neighboring rights through your CMO. But you can't collect the performance royalties that go to the PRO for the publisher and the songwriter. A lot of people don't realize that there's performance royalties on both the writer side and the master side. As I mentioned, I've released over 200 cover songs. So before you record your song and get started and release, make sure you watch this video on how to promote and market your cover songs. I really appreciate you checking out my channel. I hope I can help you on your way to making music your career. Take care.